Most family channels show the good parts.
Today we are doing the pancake arm challenge!
What? Cereal? What cereal?
But this one showed everything.
They're gonna think you're t***ing him.
Before you think this is picture perfect, we had a hook go in Eve's finger.
Sometimes I've wondered if I should, get rid of my pets.
If I don't leave now, I'm not getting out. If I don't leave now, I'm gonna die.
They turned their home into content, filming every argument, every punishment, every lesson for millions to see. For years, people saw them as the perfect YouTube family, until the mask slipped. Because behind the smiling thumbnails were punishments that went way too far, kids who weren't safe, and a story that ended up behind bars. What started as a wholesome family vlog became one of YouTube's darkest scandals.
The sentence will be that Ms. Franke serve 4 counts, 1 to 15-year sentences based on her convictions for 4 counts of aggravated child abuse.
I'm Indart, and as always, make sure to subscribe with notifications on. Most family channels try to look perfect. Cute kids, happy parents, all wrapped up in a picture-perfect video. The 8 Passengers didn't just play into that formula. They dominated it. Millions of people tuned in to watch a strict, faith-driven household that seemed to believe discipline made a family stronger. But behind the wholesome image, things felt off. Viewers noticed punishments that seemed extreme, moments that didn't feel like lessons, and a parenting style that crossed the lines long before the police got involved. Then one day, everything snapped. The authorities showed up, and the story went from awkward family vlog moments to a criminal case that shocked the internet.
Or if you feel more comfortable talking to him, I can step out. I'll wait till I have a lawyer.
Today, the channel is gone, the family is split, and the legacy of 8 Passengers isn't cute family content. However, what little people actually know is where the 8 Passengers have been years after their termination. The 8 Passengers launched during the peak of the family vlog era on YouTube. The 2 parents, Ruby and Kevin Franke, presented a large, organised, and most importantly, faith-centred household. The channel featured their 6 kids: Shari, Chad, Abby, Julie, Russell, and Eve, where they would almost daily upload videos from their summer morning routine.
I've learned to get really specific when I write these lists because my expectations are always different than the kids. I used to just put vacuum the library and then I'd get upset if I found wrappers behind the desks, so now I write with detail.
To nothing more than a push-up battle against the dad.
Who's gonna win, Chad or Kevin? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Most importantly, the channel felt authentic. Unlike other families that were doing it for money or simply entertainment, the 8 Passengers focused on morality and discipline. For many people, it was refreshing. It was a glimpse of real parenting online. Early on, the channel gained millions of viewers. It only took 2 years from the launch in 2015 to reach 1 million subscribers, and things were looking promising. Parents at home praised Ruby's honesty. Fans enjoyed watching the strict yet loving tone she delivered.
I have a hot tub in my backyard, and because it's in my home and it's on my property and I paid for it, it's under my jurisdiction. I have stewardship over that hot tub, and so I get to decide the types of bathing suits people wear when they're in that hot tub.
For a while, the family looked like a model for wholesome YouTube content. But even in the early days, subtle red flags would appear. Punishments sometimes felt unusually harsh. Lectures about obedience could drag on for hours, and the children's reactions often hinted at fear or discomfort.
There she sees
And you thought you had to sneak it past me? Oh, honey, that's okay. Are you gonna cry?
At the time, most viewers simply brushed it off. Everybody knows strict parenting exists. Not every disagreement turns into a fight. The family seemed loving, but small cracks were forming. Over time, the tone of the channel would shift. Around 2019 to 2020, when the channel was at its absolute peak in viewership, rules would suddenly become stricter.
The reason why I want to show this is because of the amount of clips where we see that her children are sleeping on bathroom floors.
All right, Russell, I'm ready to make your bed, okay? Let's see what we can come up with.
Okay, what do you think, Russell?
Is this bed gonna work?
Punishments would escalate.
I'm only gonna say it one more time, and then you're gonna lose the privilege to eat dinner.
The kids' daily routines became more rigid and controlled.
And there was a time I had just had Russell, and Julie was just crying a lot and whiny, and one day I looked at her and I'm like, you just stink. She had like peed her pants or something, and it was just because she was being neglected, because I was totally paying attention to the new baby.
Fans of the channel notice things like children losing their rights to essentials, sleeping on beanbags, or talking about having food withheld. Long and intense lectures about obedience and punishments would begin to take over videos. One of their most viral clips is Chad losing his bedroom for 7 months and was forced to sleep on the floor for playing a harmless prank on his younger sister.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
You've been sleeping on a beanbag.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October. Oh, I'll give you the reason why I lost my bedroom. So that I woke Russell up at 2 in the morning and told him that we're going to Disneyland and he has to pack. And he got up and made his bed all neatly and then packed all his clothes in a suitcase. And then he walked out the door and I'm like, Russell, he's like, what? And he's all happy. Has his sunglasses on.
Do you think it's funny? Because
and then I walk out.
If you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
It was not funny.
Some would defend the parents, saying they were teaching responsibility, while others would feel uneasy. However, nobody fully understood the extent of the problem, and that hesitation allowed the situation to escalate. At one point in time, one of Ruby's daughters forgot to make her own lunch to take to school, and when the teacher would call her to drop off some food, Ruby denied and said she was responsible for making her own lunch.
I just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? And it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
By now, subtle unease had become a pattern. Viewers were watching, but few people could predict what would come next. Compilations began rising of how awful the mother was to the children. Videos such as Everything Wrong with the 8 Passengers would go on to gain over 2 million views, and this was replicated another 4 times. Ruby Franke being terrible for 5 minutes, then followed up with Ruby Franke being awful for 5 minutes. As Ruby's parenting style got harsher and more extreme, she started to look for people who shared her mindset. That's when she met Jody Hildebrandt, a self-help coach and founder of an organization called Connections. Jody ran what she described as a mental health or truth-based coaching program, but a lot of people saw it as cult-like. Her teachings focused on strict moral ideas, essentially labeling everyday mistakes as sins.
When you were 16, you started living with her. What was that like?
It started out, I was very hopeful. I was a very depressed, anxious, angry teenager, and my aunt was a professional, but it gradually and exponentially became incredibly unbearable, very abusive towards us. I remember having this moment of, if I don't leave now, I'm not getting out. If I don't leave now, I'm gonna die.
When Ruby partnered with her, that tone began spilling into her videos and parenting approach. Together, they started filming content for Connections and even launched a joint channel and podcast on Spotify where they would present themselves as mentors who could fix families. But instead of professional counseling, their advice often came across as emotionally harsh and punishing. This partnership didn't just change Ruby's image, it completely redefined her.
I am gonna say one nice thing, and that is you took your very well. And I'm going to pretend that life is exactly how I want it.
Fans who once saw her as a tough but loving mum now saw someone doubling down on control under Jodi's influence. And eventually, that partnership would lead to the darkest chapter of both of their lives. By 2022, more viewers were speaking out. Pretty much every comment on every new video was talking about how awful of a mother Ruby is. This is not a human, this is a monster. Worst power-hungry control freak manipulator I've ever seen. Eventually, the local authorities were alerted. In August of 2023, one of the children, who was only 12 years old, managed to escape the house and run to a neighbor to alert them of what was going on. He was malnourished and completely terrified. Duct tape and ropes suggested that he had been confined.
Yes.
Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station. Well, actually, just one's fine.
What's going on, son? Have a seat there.
It's personal business.
This is the exact moment that turned the story from a family vlog controversy into a criminal investigation. The entire body cam footage from the police was uploaded to YouTube, where it would gain over 13 million views to this date.
Jodi, I need you to step out.
I have my turn.
That's great. Step out of the house.
No, I'm not gonna step out.
Step out of the house. Step out of the house.
Whoa.
We're just gonna see.
Wait a minute, how do you come to my house?
Right there.
In February 2024, both Ruby and Jodi pleaded guilty to multiple counts of aggravated child abuse. Both face potential sentences of up to 30 years in prison.
The sentence will be that Ms. Franke serve 4 counts, 1 to 15 year sentences based on her convictions for 4 counts of aggravated child abuse.
In court, Ruby admitted her children had been harmed in ways she once believed were necessary. She also acknowledged that she had confused discipline with control. Kevin Franke, the father, was never charged, but the fallout for him and the children was both immediate and life-changing. The children's lives were forever altered. The 2 youngest children, Russell and Eve, were severely affected. They are under state care and receiving medical and psychological treatment. The 4 older children, Shari, Chad, Abby and Julie, have mostly stepped away from public life. However, Shari, now an adult, was the focus of an interview detailing the abuse she experienced.
When I was younger, around like 5, 6, like Ruby was really physical, like, you know, whether it was like a slap to the lip or a slap to the cheek. When I would practice the piano, you know, like her hand would slam and like, it was really scary.
One comment even pointed out that she doesn't actually call Ruby her mum, but only by her name. Chad also went on to be a part of a podcast called The Squeeze, where he too would talk about how awful of a childhood he had.
I remember there was a video with a little clip, and it was she took the door off my bedroom that I had, and I wasn't sleeping in there, but she still took the door off. And then she took the door off my bathroom as well in the basement, so she didn't want me to have any kind of privacy.
The father, Kevin, divorced from Ruby and has custody over the younger children. It's public information that he's focused on rebuilding the trust between the kids and providing a safe environment for them. That said, some people still argue that he was passive for years while the kids were under Ruby's control, and some of the harm could have been avoided if he had acted sooner. He has publicly expressed regret for allowing the children to be exposed to harm and is committed to helping them heal. However, only time will tell as the kids grow up and they share their own experiences that Chad and Shari have yet to release. The channel no longer exists, and any footage online is simply a re-upload, as there's no chance at all that the family will ever be uploading again. While the story has somewhat of a happy ending, it's certain that all 6 of the children have been scarred for life.